So it's back to Aurora Shores and back to try to age our 3 rares that we have here on this map, and in the meantime, we've been on a bit of a hot streak killing 5 stars as we go along, so hopefully that can continue today. And go figure, the more things change, apparently, the more things stay the same. I actually wanted to start this hunt with something other than caribou, and of course we have a 1-star mature just sitting out there, so gotta try to take it. Brought the SSG M1 today, and it looks like that's going to bring him down. So we've been doing pretty good at getting 5-star caribou as of late, and I was thinking about, other things to really work on as we try to age these rares, and looking at the lodge and what could really help. Bison are the first thing that come to mind. We've got a decent number of 5-star moose, though I definitely would like more. We have a couple of Melanistic moose on the map that are ultimately going to go there too. And then Roosevelt elk, I mean, they are frankly a dime a dozen. So bison are the most obvious answer, but in trying to go and find some, we stumble into a caribou that needs taken out. And by the way, speaking of the rares, that would be our second Melanistic moose right out there. Looking a little bit better, but actually what we're kind of coming over here to do is look in the herd where our albino bison is, and just see what's in there maybe to manage. This, I believe, is technically Highland Forest. I'm really not sure, but I gotta think that's the type of area we're in, which would be primary habitat for wood bison. So I want to know what kind of genetics are in there. So I'm gonna be honest, I have spent way too long trying to get a screenshot like this, but while we're here, one thing I noticed with this albino bison, he's got like one huge horn on his left side. The right side is next to nothing, so that's probably not a good sign. But, we're hunting bison in a lightning storm anyway, so why not try to get a photo like that? I can't get the spotting to come up on him. He is a 1-star adult now. There we go. Probably not going to amount to a whole lot, but at least decent to see he is, growing a little bit with the one horn. So there's a 2-star mature here that I think we'll go ahead and try to take out. That should get him. Got the Star SM12 today. And in the interest of getting him down quicker, try to get another long shot in there. So real quick, that was not the SM12, this is the Remington 700 long range. Swapped out the SM12 for that to use something a little bit different, but long shot the first time got the right lung, second shot got the left lung, and he is a 66%er. So, I mean, let's say our albino's in that range. Fairly even and decent looking horns, I'd be very happy with that in the lodge as a mature. So we'll see what happens. We may not take the albino like at the maximum age. If we know he's not going to get close to 5 stars, we may try to choose a time when his horns are fairly even. But as cool as it is to hunt during the thunderstorms, I think we're going to rest in the interest of not having to talk over constant thunder. Try to go to another day, and that actually will help us in terms of aging things. So I'm kind of curious, and I'm not going to lie, curiosity in this game tends to get me into trouble. Well, that was ironic. We'll go back. Okay, let's try to not slide down a cliff this time. So we've got a 1-star adult bison out here, and the thing that made me curious is compared to the albino, and of course now he's laying in the brush, his horns aren't nearly as big. They're closer to even, but our albino had one really big side, and I don't know if that means anything at all, but I kind of want to know. Also, as a 1-star adult, what are the genetics of this guy? You can see that horn there. They're both about that size. So we'll just headshot him and go and take a look. But maybe it's a good sign at least that we do have one good size horn on our albino. Because what I know for sure is that at best, the albino's maybe a year older than this one, because we spotted him as a 1-star young, and we haven't checked on him in maybe 1 or 2 in-game years. So this guy could be a slightly older adult. Maybe he just hit adult and the albino is slightly older, but either way, if we take a look here, 40%, and his horns look like that. So, I mean, I gotta think that's a plus. We'll find out one day, and bison live to be pretty darn old, so it'll take a while. But that's actually encouraging. I think we should be looking at maybe at least above 50%, if not better. So 2-star mature moose out there, and then a 1-star adult is kind of uneven, though last time, I think it was a 1-star young, but we shot a 1-star that was like 80-something%. I mean, looking at that, that's not a terrible mature. I do think for a 1-star adult, this is pretty poor. So let's take him out as well. Do a little big game management up through here. And I mean, yeah, up close here, this is definitely going to be pretty low genetics. So that should help us out. 27%, that is exactly what we want to see. I think, yeah, not only is he uneven, he's just, for a 1-star adult, way smaller than what you want to see. Now, on top of the bison that I'd like to add to the lodge, we actually only have 2 5-star Sitka deer, and frankly, we don't do a lot of managing for them. We just kind of show up every now and then and hope that a 5-star is around. So, got a 2-star mature there, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, at some stage with the bow, we shot like a 99%er out of that herd at 100 or so meters. Wasn't a good idea, but we might as well take that guy out. The 3-star mature beside him looks decent. Not sure he's going to make it either, but maybe down the road, we can have something come out of this herd here, because the 2 5-stars we got, they got to 5-star at the same time. It was down at this lake here, so maybe we'll even go and give that a visit. But as for this guy, I think he's gray enough that he'll be at least lower than average? Huh. At some stage we hit him in the spine with the Steyr Gams at 186 yards? And it wasn't enough to actually bring him down. That shot through both lungs with the SSG M1 was, and he is a 53%er, so all good. That's exactly what we wanted to see, but I'm kind of surprised the games didn't get him whenever that was. Man, for just a second there, I thought we just made a crazy clutch move coming down here. We've got a really nice 4-star Sitka, and maybe he does get to 5, but they called up there in the woods, so I just decided to hit a high fitness call and see if anything responded. It looks like it's just him. I mean, that's a 5-star rack. He's right there. He's probably 450s if we took him now, but we'll try to give him another cycle and come back down here a little bit later. The rest of the deer, I believe, are moving down towards the lake. We're actually a little bit early, but we're not going to take him or anything, so maybe we can just come back and try to get something else from the herd in a bit. In the meantime, we've also got a 4-star Rosie just across the way from our Sitka. A couple of smaller bulls as well, and frankly, I don't know, I guess this one's maybe a little bit more gray. Tough to really make a decision. They all are about the same size. And because we're on the south part of the map, they're probably all going to be 60+% anyway. But let's see if we can take that guy out. Looks like pink blood there. And then by the time we jump back over to here, I think those deer should be at the lake. And even though I said earlier, 5-star Rosies are a dime a dozen, it's not as if we don't want to keep managing and get more of them. They still look good in the lodge, and at some stage, maybe we fill up the entire lodge with them and want to replace them with other stuff, but that's kind of a good problem to have. And actually, it turns out, it's just a buck and 2 does here. We used to have a whole bunch of bucks. I'm not really sure what changed there. Maybe stuffs that are rarely used at drink zone, but anyway, we're into a caribou drink time, and I do want to go and take a look at some of our spots for them. And not exactly what we expect to see. Up here on this creek here is one of the best areas for caribou, but instead we're looking at 2 1-star matures. And I mean, maybe we can get them both? If we try to headshot the one in the back, it's actually going to stand up. Maybe we can time this up? Gonna go for a vital hit now. Okay, he's out of there. Well, oh, just missed a headshot. If we'd have probably given just a little more attention to it and not started to think he was going to be away, we might have had a chance. I guess we'll worry about trying to get him next time. And did our first 1-star actually go down? I gotta think he did. He didn't make it far at all. And hopefully that'll help the genetics up in this area. Because a 42%er, that was a 1-star adult. Did we spot the mature twice then? Because I thought we had 2 separate matures come up. Either way, still weak genetics, still want to take that out. But this spot has produced a lot of good stuff lately, and removing something like that should allow more good ones to show up in the future. And I mean, that right there is an example of what our genetics in this area have been looking like as of late. A 4-star mature. He's kind of got the 5-star rack, but a little bit scaled down, and he's fairly gray. I'm not sure if he's going to make it, but if you recall from the last video, there had been a 4-star in this area with the other big rack that we were watching, and luckily last week on stream, we got to see him age up to 5-star and take him out with the bow. 3-star, 3-star. Where'd the other one go? I saw him. Oh, I just see his antlers. 5-star. And he's got the same rack still. So an aging cycle did happen. Sweet. Okay, let's get the bow. Bow's gonna be more fun. I can't believe he kept the rack. I was so afraid he was gonna switch. What's gonna be really interesting is where we actually take this shot, because these other ones, their vitals are really obstructed. Not that. That guy's staring at me too. I swear if he trots away again. Got him. That was pretty cool. I don't love that I had to stand up, because obviously in real life that would have spooked everything, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And I think we can live with it. I want to know what he is. I also don't know why we haven't knocked another arrow, but who needs that? This guy's dead. Shot him through the left lung, a little high, but it got the job done. Would have got him in the neck if it were much higher. 23 yards without a rangefinder, that wasn't bad. Whoa, 99.66%. So is this the big rack, technically? Caribou live for so not long that he may be the max score that he can get to with his genetics, even though this is clearly his first year of being a 5-star. Like, he's pretty silvery. Let's see. 474. He could add another year yet. That's wild. I mean, for sure, at that genetic potential of 99.66, he had another year. I don't know if his rack would have changed. Maybe it would have, and if it would have, I wouldn't have wanted to give him another year, so taking him now was, I feel like, the right decision, but that's crazy. So that was pretty darn cool to finally get the other 5-star rack on a Caribou, and to take it with the bow live on stream, but also pretty cool. Our Melanistic Moose is now a 3-star mature. His first step into maturity. He jumps right up to 3 stars. So I think we'll do the kind of now traditional buzz by with the UTV and get a quick photo, but I'm so excited. I am so excited to see what he becomes. So we do need to pay much closer attention now to exactly where we are in the age cycle. He's 10 years old. He just hit mature, literally seconds ago when I rested. We got to keep that in mind so we can see where he is as we go through the years. And in case he's not going to get the 5-star, we got to know that so we can take him at his maximum age. Pretty darn cool. I mean, for a 10-year-old moose, first year into maturity, he looks fantastic. And I'm pretty confident because he hit 3-star in his first year, he should ultimately make it. But again, we still need to count years just to be on the safe side. I mean, what an incredible looking rare. So as per usual, in pausing, we just make a direct turn away from everything just in case they would flee at us, and we get to watch him head off. So an age cycle is passed, we might as well go straight back to the Sitka deer and actually the elk that we saw down on the south part of the map. And I guess we should look at the elk first, because their drink time ends sooner. Well, that's not our Sitka deer. I don't know if they're even over here. I couldn't find the herd of elk that we were actually after, nor could I find the Sitka deer. I don't know if they're both in rarely used zones or what, but there's a 5-star elk down there just staring at us, and of course, spent too long being shocked about that. He's gonna go back to feeding? The tops there, I kind of think those are a little bit unique. Our last one was a little bit like that too, and I think he scored well. So hopefully, if he'll maybe turn to the side, we can try to get him. But I didn't even know there was a 4-star down here. This is the same lake where we've killed a lot of our 5-stars before. So I checked this spot quite frequently, and I did not know that that guy was standing there, but that'll be a lung hit. That cow was so uninterested in what just happened, she literally laid down right after we shot. Must be kind of caught in the middle of an animation, and we're about caught in the middle of a stampede here. Are they aggressive? Is that what's going on? I think they're aggressive. We're just gonna run this way because we are not killing all these high genetic elk when they're not at their peak age. So naturally, landed in maybe the worst spot for a photo possible. I don't even think we'll worry about that. Ended up with a, wow, kind of far back shot. We got lung damage from the expansion, hit the liver and stomach primarily. I did not realize we shot that far back. He is a 98%er. Kinda as expected. 466 score though, so probably yet another one that we could have let go for an additional year, but pretty good looking elk. The only thing that sucks is he doesn't have the ivory tines. That would look really nice with this rack, but I think that last one we got had him, so we'll tax that. And by the way, just to be clear, the 4-star elk that we were looking for was over here. That's not the same herd of elk. The Sitka though, it's this herd, and I have a problem of just not actually picking up the zones. I'm pretty sure this same herd does travel up to here, so that's what we were trying to look for, and instead, we find the 5-star I mentioned is a dime a dozen Roosevelt elk. I'm pretty sure that's him. Look just like him. The fact that he's still a 4-star though is wild. Like, assuming that actually is the same herd, and maybe we can actually go and get that zone just to confirm. He's the same size as he was in the previous year. Let's go and see, because it almost has to be. Like, I'm pretty sure I've watched that herd move back and forth in this area. But I was certain he was either going to die or get to 5-star. I didn't think he had another year of 4-star in him. So there is Sitka deer drinking often. And then if we highlight the zone, yeah, that is the herd. Therefore, that's the buck. I don't know how he didn't get to 5-star. Maybe he still has another year, but I kind of doubt it. So that's kind of unfortunate. That young Sitka out there would indicate that our 4-star isn't going to make it. That might be the biggest shock of this video. I was so sure when we saw him, now 2 8 cycles ago, that he was going to get there, but I can tell these elk frames are different than they were. We definitely have passed one more cycle, and frankly, since killing the 5-star elk, I've just been trying to get around to as many spots as possible, and trying to pass time. So, real quick, we'll check on the 4-star caribou that we had, and frankly, I have less confidence in that than I did in the Sitka deer, but let's see. Okay, this is interesting. I think they're both still here. There's 2 pretty big caribou down there. And this is the same rack as the 5-star from the Twitch clip. So, let's scoot in. We're just beyond where we can spot. Need to get like 5 more yards. I'm probably going to dip down into this before we can actually see. That's a 4-star. And that's a 4-star. So one of them, that's a good thing. One of them, not so much. I think that would be the 3rd year that whichever one of these has been a 4-star for, which probably means he doesn't make it. They're both kind of equally gray in my opinion. So I don't know if either of them actually has a chance. What I can tell you is, that guy's uneven. And we're going to go ahead and try to make that shot. Are they both the same frame? They are. How interesting. We almost never would get those. And then now we kill a 5-star from this herd with that frame. And 2 more show up. Hopefully one or somehow both do make it. I really don't know if they're going to. But the last thing we got to do, because I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I want to take one quick trip over to our Melanistic moose, if for no other reason. Just to get it through my head, he's going to be 11 years old now, because we have to remember where he is age-wise. Now, one thing we did find out during that stream in which we shot the last 5-star caribou was that he was high 90s%, which made me think maybe that's the better genetics rack. I don't know. We've had some 4-stars that don't make it with that rack before, so I don't think it means anything. Maybe there is a little bit of hope though. So let's go down and visit our Melanistic moose one last time here. So there he is. Gonna go ahead and veer away from them. I mean, it's notably different. The brow tines especially. I think he's wider set, and the brows are kind of palmated too. Kind of sucks we paused that with his antler through the body, so let's see if we can redo that. Just starting to take off, but pretty darn cool. So I have to imagine he's still going to be a 3-star. I'm thinking at 12 years old, 4-star would make sense. I think we'll go ahead and jump out just to see what we're looking at. But I gotta imagine, since he just became a 3-star at 10, yeah, still a 3-star at 11, but good looking bull nonetheless, and we are not too far away. He's 11 years old now. In theory, we take him at 16, maybe next week. We'll see if we can pass enough time. It may be time. And I don't even know how we're going to try to do it yet, but he is an awesome looking bull. So, speaking of bulls, we do have yet another 5-star Roosevelt to find a place for in this trophy lodge. And I think I might have an idea of where we want to go with it. So right back in here, we've just recently added these couple of 5-star elk to this spot. I think they were in a multi-mount where our caribou are now. So decided to move things around. And now we add a third elk to this area of the lodge. And I'm very confident, like you look at them straight on, just a different shaped frame than these two, which I think is really cool. I've noticed that a lot with the Rockies. First time that it's been really notable with the Rosies. I mean, all these. While the basic frame is the same, there's major differences in all of them, and I love to see that. So having 3 side by side like this, or at least all in the same area that do have different frames, it really makes that part of the lodge look really cool. Adding a 5-star caribou in the middle of that, and hopefully we have another one on the map. I'm really curious to see what happens with those 2 4-stars. And the best news is, as we take more and more of those things, it's only a matter of time until a Melanistic bull caribou shows up as well. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.